What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Water Change Wednesday live stream. I'm joined with Kevin Kelly from Brooklyn Hardscapes as I'm setting up my live stream for Instagram. We will be doing some live demonstrations again, like we did 2 weekends ago, or 2 weeks ago, and also be taking some Q&As. So let's start up Facebook. We're also going to be live streaming on Facebook, so you can see scapes that Kevin does. Okay, we're good on Facebook. We're good on Instagram. I think. Yeah. Okay, there we go. We are good on all of them. Nope. Maybe. There we go. Okay. Alright. So, people should be piling in. I'll get the Q&A going here. So, people should be piling in. I'll get the Q&A going. I guess we're good now. Alright. So Kevin brought some supplies with him. Some stuff that we don't normally have here. So he's going to do a couple things. What's up, Ryan? Turbofish, HC Aqua, Kitty, Kyra, Hard Cheese, Jen. What's going on, guys? Sorry we're a little bit late this evening, but it was Kevin's fault.
It's my fault.
It's definitely Kevin's fault.
Yeah. Traffic, man.
Definitely traffic. Alright, let's do... I'm going to remove this light because it's messing with my photo and my video. So, watch out, honey. Move. I'll come over here with this. Nope. I'm already breaking this thing. Alright. Whenever you're ready, Kevin.
Let's see, I'm looking on Instagram right now, and what kind of layout should I start off with? Any suggestions?
Does anybody have anything they particularly want to see from Kevin? Let's see what people are saying on YouTube. Happy New Year's, everybody. What's going on, Victor? Happy New Year's to you, too. Evening, everyone. What's going on, guys? Mary Beth. Everyone feeling better this week? Yeah, I think so. We're well rested. When do you ship? We will be shipping out on Monday. The weather looks like it should break on
Jake.
For Jake. We got a lily pipe. Kevin got
spin pipe. Yeah, new spin pipe.
Yeah. Yeah, so this week's been really cold, so we only shipped out a couple packages, ones that were going to warmer areas. Probably won't be shipping until Monday again, hopefully, and that's if the weather stays on its current course. So.
Mando 1997 wants an island scape.
An island scape.
I'll do an island scape.
So we have a question that comes in from Kira L on YouTube, and she asks, do Amazon swords need root tabs?
Absolutely. A lot of them. They're heavy root feeders.
Right. Most plants are heavy root feeders. They're going to absorb most of their nutrients at their base, at the roots. So it's ideal that you use some sort of root tabs or some sort of really good substrate that has nutrients built in, like ADA aqua soil or like Tropica aqua soil or any of those. Anything essentially that's not gravel or sand will be beneficial in some manner. Some more so than others, though.
Boom!
Messed it up.
An island scape coming up.
Alright, we gotta try and keep track of these things. So Kevin, walk us through the process.
Well, I think the easiest way to do an island scape depends on what you want to do. Again, I always start off. I do love my rock shear. It's one of my favorite things. So, Islandscape is always about the plants. Depending on, or if you want to do something really creative with the hardscape, which I'm a big hardscape guy, but it's always about the plants. You want to set this up, so probably an easy islandscape to hardscape for something low tech. Something like this, it's pretty simple. You have a little bit of nice frontal area.
Somebody said my fly was down, sorry. Thanks, Allison. I appreciate you watching out for me. Alright. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
I thought that was humorous.
I don't look at your crotch very often, so...
Are you sure about that?
No, I do look at your crotch all the time.
Alright, let's see here. We're getting some questions on Facebook. I'm trying to bring it up. Sorry. Yeah, so there's different camera angles right now. We have one going on YouTube. That's the whole kind of picture. Then we have one more up close on Facebook, and then we have a side view on Instagram. So you could pick your poison there. Don also is looking out for my zipper. Thank you, Don.
All these girls looking at your crotch, man.
I think Don's a guy's name. I think. Could be wrong. Alright, so here's another question. Jay's Aquatics asks, Justin, I just set up my CO2 and the tank I set it up on has a strong green hazy tint to it. Algae bloom, any idea how to fix it?
Sounds like green water.
Green water. So typically what's going on with that is you added CO2, which is a new element that will essentially allow algae and plants to thrive, and your tank hasn't worked out its balance quite yet. So typically green water I find is from too much light or too much like nutrients in the water. So you're overfeeding, or you just have too much light, your light's on for too long, or your light is too close to your tank. So ideally, you would want to change any of those factors. Anything else that you could think of, Kevin?
I get green water. I normally just do a blackout for 3 days. Heavily aerate the water. It's a floating algae. I guess the best way to explain it.
Right.
So get that water turbulence going, beat the hell out of the algae, and then turn the lights back on, do a 50% water change, and if it comes back, then you start treating it and cutting down your nutrients or light.
There you go. That is how to fix green water. Honey, really with the squeaking? Really? You have so many other toys. Kitty asks, how would you use flat slate from somewhere like Petco to make a cheap hardscape?
I personally try to avoid slate. It's sharp. If it chips, it can really damage any fish you're using, especially any of the catfish. Also, just in general, difficult to use unless you want to break it up into pieces, and you can like layer it and do like a very dynamic, angular aquascape. But again, it's still very sharp. If you break it, chip it. I think that in general, I avoid slate just for fish health.
Yeah, I used, it was one of the first stones I used when I first got into planted tanks. And that's just because it was the cheapest thing you could find. You could run to Home Depot, find a couple shingles for like pennies. But it's very difficult to aquascape with. The only thing I've ever seen done really well with it is actually building like I don't know, like a barrier out of it, almost like a raised bed like you would see in a garden. And then like you do like sand in the middle, build it up with the slate, and then it's essentially you're just stacking it like bricks. And then you're putting substrate behind that would benefit from that will benefit plants, and you just plant that area, and it's almost like a raised garden bed, essentially, inside of an aquarium. That's the only use that I could see for slate. But the sharp edges, like Kevin said, really make it difficult for most fish that would either be bottom dwelling, any kind of betas or guppies will tear their fins on it as well. So, very difficult to do. Let's see.
You guys like this for an island scape? How does that look?
I like it. It looks nice. Let's see what they're saying on Facebook. I'm going to try to get to all the questions, but there's a ton of you guys doing that.
Maybe one more.
This view is better than YouTube, they're saying on Facebook. Very nice. Alright, let's see what else we got.
Let's see. Oh. This is the Facebook?
Yeah, that's a Facebook. This is the Instagram. Is that pool filter sand? Yeah, this is...
Yeah.
Pool filter sand, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And this is just to do demonstrations, and you would obviously want some sort of plant substrate as well.
Yeah.
So.
I'm all about aqua soil. If everybody is... yeah, it looks okay, I guess.
Turbofish, what's your question? Turbofish. Let's see. Where do you get most of the materials, like rocks? Just curious.
Everything I'm using right now, I got from Rachel O'Leary, actually. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, Rachel does have a lot more hardscapes available right now. We will sooner or later. It's just ordering a ton of stone is costly.
Yeah. This is actually all the hardscape that I have with me today is from Rachel O'Leary.
Yeah.
Tom Bar wood, manzanita, and blackstone from Rachel.
So Daniel wants to know, will this scape be for you, Justin, or will this be for sale? Well, I don't know. We're not selling this, are we?
No. This is all the hardscape I'm using for IAPLC 2018. So this is just demonstration purposes.
Alright, so Jen asks, if using ADA Amazonia soil with the power sand at the base, when should you add root tabs and liquid ferts after the initial install?
Oh, well, you got to look at your plants. If you see growth slowing down, power sand's kind of cool, but not necessary. But start looking at your plants, start seeing growth slow down, then you start adding root tabs. It normally takes about 6 months for the growth to really start, where you start needing root tabs. Although one of my tanks, 12 gallon, it's been running for quite a while now, and I still haven't added root tabs, and my plant's color is still popping. But I also, for that particular tank, I use EI dosing, but I use dry ferts. I like letting the fertilizers dissolve in the water
Right.
on its own. I don't like liquid fertilizers in general. I'm not a big fan.
Don't hate on my liquid fertilizer.
Well, I do stuff that's a little above.
A little above the average aquascaper.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So, Mondo97, does this work? I don't know. There he is. This I see his question. It's manzanita wood from Tom Bar that I bought through Rachel O'Leary. Let's see. Jake is always a troll.
Kyria says, I have a beta fish and just got an apple/mystery snail a few days ago. Would it be overstocked if I add a few shrimp? Well, one, the beta fish will most likely eat the shrimp. They are essentially predators of shrimp, so that probably would not be the best idea, but it really depends on your tank size, if you have a lot of hiding places for the shrimp. If you have a big tank, say you have that beta in a 20-30 gallon, and you add in a couple shrimp and it's heavily planted, they'll probably have enough places to hide. But overall, no, I wouldn't add shrimp to a beta tank.
Alright, I got some questions. What's my favorite nano fish? I like microspores, all of them. The more the better, I think, with fish. I can't express that enough. I'd rather have 100 microspores than 4 discus. Always. Between sand, soil, gravel, which one is better for plants? Aquasoil. It's always going to be my answer. Whatever form of aquasoil I've been using Tropica lately. I'm really satisfied with it. I like it a lot. Gravel I only use as decorative purposes, the same way with sand. But if you're using aquasoil, the general rule is that aquasoil should never be visible, so you should be so grown in that you don't see it anyway. So.
All right.
Let's see, what else we got? Yes, that's pool filter sand.
Make sure whoever's asking the questions read out the name because it'll help me later on.
Oh, okay. Instaglazed, what kind of time schedule should I put my S-Brief, Planted Light?
SB Reef.
SB Reef. Oh, God. That's me. Ugh. SB Light on when I first start my planted tank. You start at 6 hours. I think 6 hours is the best time to go through.
So the question is basically, what photo period or how long should you keep your lights on for a planted tank? Whether or not whatever fixture it is, whether it's the SB Reefs like his particular situation or a Fluval light or a Phoenix light, 6 hours is a good starting point, and then you can adjust accordingly. Anywhere between 6 and 8 hours I find is like the sweet spot. Anything more than that I feel like is a little too much.
Yeah.
And a lot of people run their light for 10, 12 hours a day and then they have algae problems. So that's how you can cut down on your algae problems. Reduce your lighting.
Yeah. Let's see. Cat's Eye 102. So you should build a scape first, then add water. Yes, absolutely. Do not try to scape in water. You can do it, especially when you do a tank rebuild if you don't want to pull the fish out, which is what we did this past summer. But don't do a fresh tank. Build your scape. Don't flood it for a couple of days. Look at it, see if you like it, and then decide. And then once you're sure of it, flood it. We'll plant it and then flood it.
Yeah, it's so much easier to visualize the scape when it's completely drained. It's a problem that I have because I'm too lazy to take all the fish out of my 55 gallon to do the proper scape and then add them back in after the scape is done. So doing it like this is much easier to do.
All right, what should I do next?
I don't know, let's see, what kind of scapes would you like to see next from Kevin? We have another question that comes in. Banshee on YouTube as H2O plants. Does wood affect watercolor?
Yeah, if you don't treat it first, you get tannins and it'll get red. Get like a reddish or brownish hue.
Right.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, having brown water, assuming that it's coming from tannins, which are things that are naturally leached out of things like wood and leaf litter, like Indian almond leaves. These are all things that will kind of tint your water brown. Those are actually beneficial to most fish and invertebrates and all that. The tannins really help them. It's actually like an antibacterial or microbial thing in the water. With that said, you could boil the wood ahead of time, or you could soak it for several days also ahead of time. If it's too big, stick it in a tub of water, stick it in your bathtub, and that'll allow most of the tannins to come out of the wood. You'll still have some, but as long as you keep on top of your weekly water changes, you won't have that problem with the tannins. But and each set of wood will leach different amounts of tannins. Spiderwood is less than, say, Malaysian, and I'm not sure on how Manzanita is compared to the two. Does Manzanita leach lots of tannins? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can. Victor Lazoff. Paludarium or vivarium, that's a little more time consuming. We're trying to do some quick scapes. I do a lot of paludariums. They're actually my favorite. I like them better than aquascapes, but I'm very picky, and they don't go perfect, and I just trash them probably when they're like a quarter of the way grown in.
So we have another question from Leslie here, Leslie2009 on YouTube. I've got an ick outbreak in my beta sorority rainbow planted tank. Normally I turn up the heat and add salt. Will the salt hurt my plants? Absolutely. Salt will kill plants. The way that you would want to treat ick is use some sort of medication. I personally like herb tanna. It's
that natural, all natural stuff?
All natural stuff. It literally wiped out ick within 2 days from when I had my first outbreak in my tank way back when. And it's safe for shrimp, safe for sensitive fish, safe for plants. Doesn't disrupt your bacterial colony or anything like that, and it works very, very well. I can't speak more highly about the product. And if you have a small enough tank, a lot goes a long way. With that said, if you use it for only like 2 days and you see it starting to disappear, treat it for the whole duration that it says. I think it's 7 days.
Like any medication.
Yeah, don't just do 2 days because you see it, get rid of it. Use the proper dosage for the proper amount of time. Do you have any ick medication that you like to use?
No.
No? Do you even get ick?
Actually, I just fought ick. I just won.
Really?
I didn't actually use any medication though.
How did you do it?
I just cooked the shit out of the tank. Don't listen to me.
Yeah.
I'm Christian's probably watching right now, like facepalm.
A lot of people. No, because this is the consensus on Facebook is that heat and salt. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I do think in some cases, yeah, that can work. I think a lot of people don't catch ick early enough that it is to a point where they need to use medication.
Yeah, I mean, it barely.
Yeah.
I had like one little fluffy spot, and I was like, nope, just raising the heat. But those parasites get in the water column.
Right.
Gone. Did like water change every single day.
Yeah.
75% water change.
Yeah, daily water changes is good. But no, that's a problem that I constantly see. People are always recommending this, and then people lose their fish because they're like, oh, well, people said to just use heat and salt, and it didn't work because it was too far involved in the, there's just too much of it, and the fish were already having issues because of it. So depending on where you are in the ick life cycle, you can use heat or go to a medication that, whatever you look up or use herb tanna like I suggested. I've also heard ick X is really good as well.
Yeah, don't be like me. Use medication.
I've only used EcoComplete and have had success as Substrate. I mean, EcoComplete's decent. A lot of people don't like it. I use it, but I mean, a lot more intelligent people that have tested these things will say that it's not a really good substrate to use. I mean,
there's so many. I have so many things to say about EcoComplete.
My thing is if you have a huge tank, right? If you have a 75-gallon tank, using aqua soil isn't cost effective. You're going to spend $600 filling it up with aqua soil.
We throw it on hardscape.
Well, yeah, you could do hardscape. This is true.
I'll never bend about that.
I mean, like it's one thing like if you're doing select planted areas in like a huge tank and you're using like little amounts of aqua soil here and there to fill in those areas. But like if you're doing a whole tank of all aqua soil, honey, quit your shit. Dog, stop.
I didn't see any suggestions for a layout other than the Powdarians, so I'm just going.
So JJ asks on YouTube, honey, she dropped the toy. JJ on YouTube asks Tropica aquarium soil or 88 aqua soil.
I like Tropica because it's becoming more and more available. It's just as good. I mean, it's the guy that made 88 aqua soil now works for Tropica.
Okay.
So, or one of the guys. I go with Tropica. It's just cheaper. It's easier to get for it in a lot of ways. There's not as much of a price fluctuation. It's somewhere around $45 a bag.
Yeah. We might be able to sell it soon too. Actually, we can sell it soon. I just need to order it, which would be very nice. Because then I get it at wholesale cost.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I actually prefer it. What's a nice mixture for me actually is the Tropica aqua soil, and then I use the powder on top, so that what does show through the plants doesn't look so aqua soily. You know, I think it looks a little more natural.
Goosehead Aqua says pH is 7.4 and very hard water. What substrate would you recommend? I have a complete and a 55 and a 60-pound eco. 60-pound eco. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know. Is salt safe for snails? No. But, it will wipe them out, and I think shrimp are sensitive to salt too. Right?
I believe so. I really am trying not to answer any questions about husbandry of animals.
Right.
I
Kevin's
get nervous.
Kevin's not an expert with fish. Scapes is his forte.
Yeah, I mean, I go to people who know more than me. That's I think that's probably one of the most underused advice. People are good at certain things. I can build a really, fish-friendly tank, but I don't know, diseases and stuff like that. I really try to avoid answering questions.
Somebody wants to be a wise guy. You get blocked, sir.
Uh-oh. What'd they say?
If you think about it, Stratum, ADA, and Tropica are all pretty much the same aqua soil, just bagged and branded differently.
No, that is not true.
Alright, so Kevin is going to break down the differences between all three.
Alright, so it's ADA, Stratum, and what else?
And Tropica.
And Tropica. I would say that ADA and Tropica are very similar products. I prefer Tropica just because it seems to work best for me for what I do. ADA is kind of like an apple, like Apple. You need to use all the products together to have like a perfect tank. It's basically a plug-and-play system from the power sands, the aqua soil, to the fertilizers, to even the lights. You follow the instructions, you get an easy aquarium. Stratum has almost no built-in nutrients. I find that it breaks down really fast. The next thing you know, you have a brick of mud in your tank. I've had Stratum break down as fast as a month. I do not like it. I think it's a piss-poor product.
There you go.
Also, Tropica and ADA hold nutrients for 6 months or more, which is a bonus. You have a good no. So, I mean, you have a good spherical soil, and it holds nutrients for a long time, so you have structure and nutrients. That's the two most important parts when it comes to aqua soil. And Stratum has always been a disappointment, always.
So Stratum comes up short.
Yeah.
As always.
I don't like contra soil either, so in case somebody brings that up.
By the way, when you answer questions, look at that camera.
That camera.
That camera. Unless you're answering somebody on here, but... No.
Yeah, you're going to have to guide me through that.
I know, I have to walk you. Don't worry, Kevin, we can hold hands.
Come here, give me your chop here.
Yes, oh.
How did this turn out? Is it okay? Anybody like this?
I like that. That's cool as shit. Let's see.
What should I do next?
What's a scape you guys would like to see next? Hey! Honey!
Trying to beat my record from last week. 7 scapes in a...
Did we did 7 last time?
6 or 7?
You did 7? And by we, I mean you. What is this? These guys want to get blocked? Why are all the haters coming in?
What are you saying?
They're just freaking nonsense. You know what? Where's Evan? Evan, I've seen you in here a few times. You get mod powers. Oh, Shrimpery's in here. What's up, Shrimpery?
I like Evan.
Yeah, I gave him mod. Evan, you're mod. You take care of the haters. People want to see an avatar scape.
An avatar scape.
Yeah, I don't think you could do that with what you have.
That's like an in-depth.
Yeah, that's like
that's
that you have to.
I don't think Justin would like it if I made him hold this.
No. But we could do that for a future video.
Yeah.
We could do your version of a avatar tank. So
You can do all kinds of stuff. I've been dying to do a glued-on glass tank. That's like a permanent thing. That's.
Yeah, that's. We don't do permanent around here. I just got here, but the manzanita inside the rocks, that was looking pretty cool for a minute. So they enjoyed that. Oh, what Shrimpery asked what did I wind up doing with his plates. I actually tossed them in one of the tanks behind me. Not one of these, on the other side of the room. And I actually, that tank needs a whole lot of work, so it's like literally just floating and coming up out of the water at the moment. So it's all alive, I just haven't figured out where it's going to go. If I'm going to try and grow it out in one of the regular tanks, or if I'm going to put it in an aquascape.
The Great Stone Henry 132. This is I can't remember the exact name of it. It's just blackstone. Crap. I'll comment on this later. I gotta remember it's whatever aquacape or something it has. But it's great. It's a great stone. I love it. It's a little more dense than Ceru, so it's a little heavier. But I think it's beautiful. It's simple. You know, you don't have all the crags and stuff. It makes me feel like it's a little more natural underwater environment because it's not craggy.
Right. So MK Films says do a divided tank.
A divided tank?
Yeah. So
like two sides fighting?
I guess so. Do you think you could do that in this small of a tank? The stone you have?
I can...
What about the other stone, though?
Yeah, I can do that.
Maybe? If you have enough? Hey, you got some decent... What is that, cereal?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That's 40 pounds. Ooh, I just broke this.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be picked up by one hand.
No, I guess not. Oh, dived aquascape? What is this? Dive? Deep? Yep. D-I-V-E-D? Okay, so Shrimpery from Instagram asked...
I like his Instagram.
He has beautiful
tanks,
and he's great at photography.
He's the only person I know that uses the Malachis. Nobody, the plant that he sent.
Oh, okay.
It's my favorite plant.
Shrimpery says, what tips do you have for mixing rocks and wood in a Scape? I have trouble doing mine without it feeling incordious. I'm probably saying that wrong.
We should have an email conversation.
No, you should answer it here, because this was actually a thing that we were just talking about before we went live. So, but you could have a discussion afterwards. But answer it for the people.
I mean,
should you mix different types of wood and rocks?
Yes,
in an aquascape?
Absolutely. And anybody who tells you different, slap them. They're traditionalists. They're no fun.
Now, can you do one?
You want to do a mixed stone?
Yep. And my camera just ran out of juice.
Wood's a little bit harder because you got to find some kind of balance. But yeah, you can have all kinds of fun. You can do anything you want. As long as it's done well, anything will look good. You look at the cubus. Somebody ever, should look bad, but it's beautiful.
The what?
The cubus. The art movement, the cubus.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Cubism?
Oh, cubism. Okay, I know what that is.
This is going to be a little bit hard to do on a impromptu. Normally I'd have to...
What are you doing? You're
doing a mixed stone.
You're going to mix stone, alright. This is how you mix aquascaping stone and make it look somewhat good.
Well, we'll see.
The results have yet to be determined. Kira asks, what is a fast-growing plant without CO2 that you would recommend? So, I guess just what's one that comes to mind?
Immediately? I mean,
Yeah.
water sprite.
Yeah, water sprite's one of my go-to ones.
Vals.
Vals are pretty good.
A lot of water lilies.
I like water wisteria is also pretty quick growing without CO2. Once it gets going, it just goes. Hornwort's another good one.
That's a plant. I thought that was just a nuisance.
Well, it is, but a lot of people like it. I mean, it comes in handy, especially when breeding and stuff. So.
I haven't had that in so long, and yet it still pops up in my tanks years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doing a layout like this is I'm not going to beat my record.
No?
Yeah.
Oh. Listen, sometimes it's not about how many you do, it's about the quality, right?
Did you go to college?
Oh. Let's not go there. Alright, Gen G asks, with new ADA Aquasoil tank, when can you start adding shrimp?
My system with ADA Aquasoil, especially when I have clients, they're very impatient to get fish in their tank. So what I do is I'll scape the tank, I'll flood it, I'll do 100% water change, then I plant it. Then I come back, flood it again, come back the next day, do 100% water change. And then for the next 3 days, I do 50% water changes, then a 25% water change on the 5th day. I let it run for a week, do another 50% water change, and then after the 2nd week I start testing it. It normally kind of kick-starts a lot of the processes. If you can get your hands on cycled filter media, your tank could be ready in 2 to 3 weeks for sure. Not a good enough answer?
That's a very thorough answer. There you go. What size tank is that, and is it glass or other material, and how much does it cost? They want to know what this tank is.
It's a Denarelli Scapers tank. It's a kind of a kit. It's about $100.
Is that 10 gallons?
It's 10 gallons. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's about $100. I can't. This is actually a competition tank. This is one of the tanks that I did for Dustin's Aquascaping contest.
Alright, so now explain the process with the dual rocks here.
I'm just playing right now. It's going to take me a minute to figure it out.
What's going through your mind as far as...
I'm using the law's perspective. I'm going to fill everything up with Siru, but I'm going to use the black stone to accentuate the depth. It's darker. But I'm trying to keep it leaning so there's light still going to hit in here, so it's a grayer instead of a black. Fill up with as much craggy Siru as possible so that this looks deeper.
Gotcha. So would you say when using two different types of stone that in some way they have to kind of make sense,
Yes, they have to relate to each other in some way.
Right, like you couldn't use Sirio and Dragonstone. What do you think you could?
Depending on what you're doing. When you're doing something a little bit like this, and I like to say this is like a medium advanced kind of challenge, it's all about planning. For the original tank that you were going to sponsor me when we went to Aquatic Experience, I was actually going to use Siru stone, and then the back quarter of the tank was actually going to be a bunch of broken slate laid flat. So when you look at something in the distance, you look at mountains in the distance, they do look flat. There's no detail, it's just... Yeah. So that's a good example of an easy way to use perspective and visual perspective.
Makes sense.
Let's
see what some Facebook people are saying, and then we've got a bunch of people in there. Thank you, Janine. I hope your holidays were good as well. Jacob, I answered your question earlier on in the live stream. Go back and rewatch when it's over. Jeff's Aquatics asked, when are we getting root tabs back in stock? I actually have everything on order. Hopefully I'll have everything sometime this week. And that goes for regular Vital, Thrive-S, and root tabs. They should all be in stock within the next week or so. Once the Vital tabs come in, I have to do all the packaging. Same thing with the Vital formula, the all-in-one formula. Once I get all that done, it'll be up on the website. So probably a week or two. Shrimpery says, I like the idea of using different stones to accentuate perspective. It makes sense.
This is not a very good example. I'm not happy with this.
doesn't look half bad.
No. No, just quick, throw it together. I can do another one if anybody wants. I'm really unhappy with this.
Are acrylic tanks generally cheaper or more expensive? Really? Cheaper?
Yeah.
It also depends on the size.
Yeah. I don't like acrylic. There's a whole argument there too. Acrylic plastic in tanks is not created equal. It's more diverse than glass is. So you know, there's a lot of acrylic out there that's really sensitive to chemicals in the water. You're pounding CO2 into the water, and
yes, keep in mind CO2 makes water acidic, so
it's carbonic acid.
Yeah, so it does break down things over time.
Let's try this mixed stone thing again.
Evan said he liked the way it was thrown together from the front. It looked good.
Yeah.
A lot of people are actually saying they liked it.
I did not.
So who said Aqua says, have you ever heard of or used nice Nick Brew LED?
No.
No? Have you ever heard of it?
Mm-mm.
Me either. Never heard of it. Sorry.
So many LED companies popping up right now, though. It's hard to keep track.
This is true.
What's going on? That giggle.
Well, one person says, I hope there is a scratch-free acrylic. And then
Well, you gotta buff it out.
Evan says, take the compliment, damn it, Kevin. Alex Winchell says, hello.
Alex! There's all kinds of people I like on right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Instaglazed on Instagram says, can you do a Dragonstone scape?
No Dragonstone scapes this week. I did a bunch last time.
No, didn't we do cereal last time? Or did we do?
We did Dragonstone,
No. Did we? No, it was cereal. Remember, we didn't touch Dragonstone at all last time.
How about I promise to do Dragonstone next time?
Okay. Well, we have Dragonstone. I don't know how much we have left.
Yeah.
We have...
A bunch of it needs to be broken down.
Yeah.
You know, using a tank this size. It just eat up too much time.
Or what if we just get a bigger tank?
A bigger tank? Do you want a bigger tank? Should I bring a bigger tank?
Do you have a bigger tank?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I still have to order a couple. I want to order. Well, I have another 20-gallon. That's going to be coming.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because they owe me one.
Oh yeah.
Scratch. So I get that. We have 20-gallon. I want to be nice.
I need tanks. I always need more tanks. That's probably why I live alone.
So Nicer W is sold on Amazon. I've used them in all my tanks and love them. They aren't too expensive and seem to grow my plants well. So that's never heard of them.
No, I haven't. I've never used them.
Later, Joshua and Evan says Cheerios is another great option for similar light to Twin Star stuff for a lot cheaper.
Cheerios is okay. I was a little disappointed by the RGB. But the Series A, if you're just growing green plants, you don't expect to have much color. I was really impressed.
Yeah.
I was stupid, and the 7-gallon, the 12-inch, I just plot those lowest legs, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, A, I had huge plant growth, and B, I had a lot of algae, so I actually had to give the visors.
Right.
Which is good for me. I get excited when I underestimate a light and I get algae and I have to fix it. It's a good sign for me. It makes me happy.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. MK Films asks, how would you recommend doing a water change on a low surface? On a low surface that the tank sits lower than the water bucket.
Huh. Why is it so low?
Yeah. Why is it so low? That's one question. And secondly, Probably your only option would be a python.
Yeah, you could do a python or a smaller bucket. Or you just kind of...
Or you can get like a tub. I mean, this isn't ideal, but you could use a tub like this.
Yeah, that's a good solution.
That has a low profile versus a bucket. And I just dump this into a bucket. Let's see. Hussein Aqua says, I hope your family's doing good and have a happy, healthy baby. Thank you, I appreciate it. She is due in 5 weeks.
See if the baby's born with green eyes or brown eyes.
And we'll see how tall she is. you know, if she comes out as a tall baby, then she's definitely not mine. Then I have to start questioning people. Oh, somebody says that they use a power head connected to tubing to send water out of a...
That's a good solution. I used to do that. I've had some bad experiences. Just because I get distracted, and I burned out a couple of motors.
Jen G says, thinking of ordering some of your plants. Do they come with snails? And if so, bleach dipping safe to get rid of them? Or is there a better way other than bleach to get rid of them? So, pretty much there's no way to guarantee any snails that won't come on the plants because the only way to guarantee no snails at all are tissue cultures. Nobody can ever have a truly snail-free tank in this kind of industry unless they're like really just growing them from what's in there and not bringing in any new plants and just kind of going consistently like that, which is very difficult to do. You can bleach dip. I don't do it. I mean, the snails, they're not a bother to the plants. If anything, they're a sign that your tank is unhealthy, meaning you're overfeeding or your tank isn't balanced and you have a lot of excess plant matter that they're eating and stuff to be able to reproduce a lot. Eventually, their population equals out to the amount of available food. So, I've had I've had my 55 go from tons of snails down to no snails practically, like you couldn't even see them, to then having a bunch more snails because a bunch of things went out of whack. So, but Kevin also says that you could do hydrogen peroxide dip too, right?
Yeah, I prefer hydrogen peroxide.
And that also helps to get rid of snails as well. But even with that said, even if you do a bleach dip and hydrogen peroxide, there's still no way to guarantee that it killed everything. So there's always a chance that even though you did them, snails could still pop up.
I mean, I have a piece of copper, saw a little copper bar, and if I see snails when I get them and I don't feel like dealing with it, I'll actually just put the copper in the water and put the plants in with the copper and soak it for a day, and it'll kill any invertebrate.
There you go. Another solution: just stick them in a tub of water and a bar
chunk of copper. Yeah.
There you go.
How about that? Is that a little better? Nah, it's still kind of weird looking. Who suggested this? That was a shrimpery, wasn't it? I don't like him anymore. Well,
honey, Shrimpery says he likes to do the bleach method. No comment? No comment.
oh no, I'm just.
Kevin's ignoring you, Shrimpery. You see how he is?
I mean, yeah, the bleach is fine. I just always get nervous with bleach.
Yeah. I don't think it's really needed. I mean, snails are snails. If you're really concerned about them, just throw an assassin. An assassin snail.
They're fantastic to watch hunt too. All right.
Shrimpery says he thinks you're killing it. He likes the perspective ideas.
They look a little better. This is actually the opposite of visual perspective, but it's
Huh? I like it.
I like it. I like contrast.
Yeah. Looks good. You sponsor Challenge the Wild? Yeah, some of his videos will do.
Nah, it doesn't need wood. Alright guys, what do you think? Is that okay? Does it answer the question? Did it an okay job?
So explain it. Explain your example. Explain your work. This is a math assignment. You have to show your work. Show how you got to your answer.
Okay.
Look at that camera.
No, I'm looking at so I can get an idea of what I did.
It's slanted though. Why is it slanted? Shouldn't be slanted.
This is just
There we go.
not a complex, not math, not even actual visual perspective, other than contrasts are beautiful. Lighter stone surrounded by darker stone. The darker stone has a grain going towards the lighter stone, and it draws your eye. You know, it's pretty simple concept. You know, focusing on this one area. If I was going to plant this, I forgot to bring my tools. So.
Do you need that?
But if I was going to plant it, it would be something completely ridiculously simple. Probably low tech. Get like one of the creeping mosses like Kylo moss or Physidans, and you know, put it in between the stones so that all these spaces would just be greenery slowly creeping up onto the rocks. Don't plant this at all, and go nuts shrimp. You know?
I don't know where any of my aquascaping tools went to, by the way. They all just disappeared.
I left all my favorite tools at a client's house.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you take all my tools?
I did not. This just happened today. I gotta go back anyway.
This just happened the other day too. By any chance, were the tools you left at your client's house my tools too?
No. I gotta go back. Her 2-year-old.
Destroyed her tank.
Yeah.
That's why I'm putting one of those coated padlocks on the door, so when the baby is here, she cannot come down here.
Yeah. 200-gallon tank. $6,500 worth of equipment, plants, and animals, and I got to start all over.
Jesus.
It was only set up for 5 days. Well, I mean, filled in with fish for 24 hours.
Damn. That's not good. I'd kill that kid. Janine says, my mother did a 55-gallon tank with rocks, and the rocks slipped and shattered the tank. What a mess that was. She was trying to save her fish as they were flopping around the floor in the glass. That sucks.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful when you're handling rocks. Especially when you're doing, like, we're not using it here, but you can use like a light diffuser, and it's basically just like a plastic grid that stands about a ½ inch or a ¼ inch tall, and you could lay that on the bottom of your tank, and that'll allow it so in case you did drop rocks, it wouldn't impact the glass that was bare.
Well, this stone broke my pinky toe recently.
Did it?
Yeah. So wear shoes when you skate. That's an important.
I'm wearing my Batman slippers.
So. Breaking the rules. You're a rebel.
I am.
You're
It's also because I get yelled at if I track in snow and salt. And,
yeah, has it started snowing yet?
I don't know. It's going to soon. Though.
Yeah.
We're gonna get snowed in.
Oh, I don't want to be snowed in on Jersey.
What would you recommend to divide 2 types of substrates?
Oh, Corex corrugated plastic sheeting.
Where can you find it?
Art supply store, craft store, Amazon. Normally it's in like the sign making section. It's just corrugated. It's like cardboard that's made out of plastic. I guess I could do a tutorial on some of the easy ways to. You can make like accordions out of it, so you can get a curve. You can do all kinds of stuff.
We could do that
Yeah.
for a future video.
Yeah.
Then we can go together.
I use it all the time. I don't try to fight. I know some people, or I'll see them with their tweezers plucking out aquasoil every grain. Or they just suck the sand up and start all over again. I'm like, no.
I made the mistake when I first started trying to aquascape. I put down black Eco Complete and then pure white sand on top of it.
I mean, I've done stuff like that. I learned the hard way too.
Yeah, I was like, nope, this does not work. Despite what everybody thinks, it does not work. At that point, it was just toss and start over. The Shrimpery says he's more afraid of hair algae than snails. I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
I am completely fine with snails. When it comes to algae, that's a completely different.
Oh, is Joey still on? Because you give me butterflies too, Joey. I think you're cute.
Joey came on? Oh,
Yeah.
Come on.
Joey, I'll give you the best 15 seconds of your life.
Joey says, do you think scaping shirtless would make for a better scape?
Nobody wants to see me shirtless.
Apparently Joey does. Joey will pay for it.
Joey, you can pay me for it.
Joey, you gotta send us super chats, and then Kevin will start stripping. Every $1,000 we make, Kevin will strip an article of clothing.
Oh, that'd be so nice. I could keep on renting cars to come in.
That would be. When are you doing the damn artwork? You gotta get on this.
I had a chance, man. I did more scapes in the past month than I have in the entire year. I'm tired. I'm still tired. I'm feeling burned out.
Well, I mean, you did 7 last time, and now you did like another 4 already. 18
tanks and 18 aquascapes in 21 days professionally. That was it's got to be a new record. At least for me. And I still lose every competition.
Joey's on YouTube. What's up, Joey? Oh, Joey did do a super chat. He said you $12 Canadian. Take it off slowly.
All right, I'll FaceTime you later, Joey. You big sexy beast.
Kevin's gonna send nudes.
No, I just don't want people to see my tattoos. I'll never live it down.
Now I want to see these tattoos.
Lots and lots of bad decisions.
Hey, quiet down back there.
I mean, I'm not even wearing underwear right now, I don't think. So what should I do next?
Can you do a 2-island tank?
Yeah? Yes, I should have brought smaller stone.
I might be able to do it.
Should I use Cero or Blackstone?
Like both.
I'm going to keep mixing stone.
Do whatever. I don't care.
I'm just asking.
Well, what does everybody else want to see? Do you guys want to see Cero or Black Cero? That's just Black Cero to me. That's all that is.
Can I use Buddy in my next game?
Noodles. Yes, you're going to send noodles. Almost just walked right into you. I turn around, I'm like, whoa, why is Kevin right here? Whoa.
We got a little threesome going.
Yeah.
Come here, honey.
She wants to get involved. You. Oh, I got you. Hi.
An island, you say?
Yeah. Your paw is cold. What? You stink like Doritos. Why do dogs smell like Doritos? Or not Doritos, Fritos.
I don't have an answer for you.
They always
That actually caught me off a little bit. I don't know what to say.
Fritos. The hell is this even like? The hell is this? What? I'm so confused. What are you doing now? Island?
It's the double island. What were you expecting? I got a song stuck in my head. It's not a bad song, but it's just...
Is it by Milkshake Brings All the Boys to the Yard?
No, it is not actually. It's by a band called The Intruders. Interrupters, excuse me.
Let's see. You can't have a fish tank proper without some dog fur in it. That's true. Don't worry, I was in the same place as you when I was 12, just starting with one tank, and eventually they will allow you to get more. They will show you're responsible. That is true. Imagine having a small bag of plant trimmings and your parents think it's something else. I mean, I do say I'm one of the biggest weed dealers people know. People really know I mean aquatic weeds, not actual weed. That's it. This video is demonetized. Let's talk about weeds, okay?
The crack is whack, yo.
Joey says Kevin shouldn't have to try to skate with Justin on his hip like a child. Oh, are you going to the Brooklyn meetup that Joey's doing?
What is that?
January 25th. It's a Friday night. It's at the one of the Brooklyn clubs.
I'm not sure I'm going to be in town.
Well, no, you have to be in town. You have to give my date. I need somebody to.
You're going to come pick me up and then we'll go?
Yeah, I'll pick you up.
Alright.
Alright. Kevin's coming, Joey.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments there. Oh, Joey, you're never going to find a friend like me. You'll be walking funny for a long time.
Joey says Kevin could have his way with Justin, and Justin knows it. For the right price. Kevin
I like it when they fight. We have to struggle snuggle.
Yeah.
Come here.
Kevin needs to do like 5 more tanks for me, and then we'll talk. Alright guys, we're going to let the live stream go for about 10 more minutes, and then we're going to be shutting her down. So if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Well, Kevin,
there we go. Little quick island skate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not okay?
Relax. Looks good. Looks very good.
This is good for me too. I'm getting faster.
Honey, get down. Go play with your toys. Go play with your toys. No, go play with your toys.
So many ways to take that. If you couldn't hear that it was a dog.
My talk is on the top 10 things that make me better than Justin. It's a 90-minute talk. This is true.
What?
He's doing a talk, and I haven't been booked for a talk yet.
I love doing speaking engagements. I think they're great. So yay or nay, kids? What do you think?
Relax. Let's see. Where should I buy Tropica Aqua Soil from? Probably Amazon. Does Amazon sell it?
I'm not sure.
Amazon might sell it. I'll soon have it.
It's gonna be. Yeah, you should probably get it soon.
It will in the next couple months.
Oh, you ended Instagram.
Well, it goes down automatically.
Oh, it does?
You get an hour time limit. Fortunately.
So it's YouTube and Facebook. Should I try to pop out one more?
Sure. Go for it. You got like 8 minutes left.
It's the shrimpery. I'm slowed down because I had to do something hard.
It's all because of shrimpery. It's all shrimpery's fault. Oh, Rachel Larry has Tropica?
Oh yeah, I always forget that Rachel still had Tropica.
Yeah, check out Rachel. Rachel O'Leary.
Wow, that was Rachel's my girl. I love Rachel. I just totally forgot about her. Oh, before the dick.
Yeah, we gotta take another trip up there soon.
Yeah. We need to finish getting supplies for IAPLC.
I said we're going up there, let me know.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive.
Sure.
I think I'm gonna buy a car soon.
Yeah?
I think I'm sick of this. I'm sick of renting cars and borrowing cars.
Do you have a space to park it?
Nope.
Buy a moped.
I mean,
I could see you on a moped. That'd be freaking hilarious.
me on a moped?
Yeah.
No, you can see Christian on a moped.
No, I could see Christian riding on the back of your moped.
Maybe.
Like this.
Pelvis forward, shoulders back.
Melissa, yeah, I believe me, I had to delay 70 orders this week because of the weather.
Yeah.
Not fun. It sucks too because I have another shipment coming in this week, and these tanks are either somewhat emptier now than they were, but they were packed, and we got to do massive cleaning tomorrow. 1,200 high pressure norm on a CO2 20-pound tank. I don't think 1,200 is good. Mine is at 30 psi.
With the output pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be at 35. Like 35 is like a perfect output pressure. You don't have a high bubble count, and yeah. 1,200 is not.
Oh, it says his is 1K, 1,100K. Am I thinking of the wrong thing? Are you thinking of the valve before it?
Talking about output pressure, or are we talking about the tank pressure?
Yeah, the tank pressure can range.
I mean, mine's at 3,300.
Mine, when I'll get. At first, I thought it was determining how much it was filled, but that's not the case.
No.
So the first valve should be the tank pressure, which should be anywhere between 500 and 1,000, typically. I find maybe 1,100, and then the outflow pressure should be like 30 to 40 psi. Yeah, you're probably fine now. I don't think 1,200 is that high on the outside pressure. What are you doing now, Cave?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I guess I can do okay. That was not my intention, but I guess that's what headed.
Jenny S says 19 fish in a somewhat heavily planted tank, too much fish. Well, it really depends on size.
As with most things.
Yeah, you need to know the size. Miranda says, hey Justin, I can't wait to get the plants you picked out for me. I'm so excited to start this. I have an empty tank for too long. Well, I'm glad. Oh, Miranda, I actually meant to email you, but since you're on here, I'll let you know. On your grab bag, I had done green ocelot swords, but some of them weren't looking too good, so I included extra of them. So you'll have, I think there's 4 in there, 3 or 4, opposed to the 2 that was a part of it, just because they lost some of their leaves. So.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, messed up my camera. Should I have a Scape off with Kevin? Yes.
Who's this?
Joey.
Yeah. I'll give him a stink finger.
But we play by my rules. Because I actually have some good ideas for it.
Oh, yeah. Like, who can... I mean, Joey's going to be like...
Joey says, it would be funny, plus I'd win, so there's that.
I don't know.
Yeah. Joey's going to take some rocks and be like, yeah, I win.
Alright, we'll have a Scape off and then a boxing match.
I don't know who would win that. Joey's pretty ripped, but I don't know.
I'm from Brooklyn.
And ex-military, so I don't know who I'd put my money on. You don't get to make the rolls. Oh, but come on, I want to. Melissa says, I'm thinking about doing your monthly plant pack. Don't run CO2. Do you send plants that need it? Or what type come in? So typically the plants that are in the plant pack are low to medium light plants that don't require CO2. So you won't expect to see anything that's super high or anything that I don't think will survive in that low to medium light setting. I was thinking about doing a highlight tank package, but it's just, I don't have enough space for that yet. But eventually, I like this. I like whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Joey says he'd do it. We should definitely do an aquascaping thing. Shit, I'll set up all the cameras like I got going on now. I got 4 different angles. Live stream. Later, Evan, no worries. I really like this wood, the way it curves.
Yeah, it was very... Christian and I went through, literally as soon as Rachel got the shipment, Christian and I were like, ooh, let's go to Pennsylvania. So we got in before almost anybody else did. And then we oh, it was when you were there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we hit it
Oh,
Maybe we shoved it under the porch.
These two were like freaking squirrels with nuts. They were hiding for the winter. They're like, all of these are mine. Don't let anybody touch them.
I mean, I still have more at home. Actually, I got a couple big pieces and I just broke them apart. So
they're saying George cheated. What? George cheated versus Joey.
You know, I actually haven't even watched that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I have like a YouTube playlist, but I'm so far behind.
Someone help. My first water plant and I purchased seemed to have carried some ramshorn snails along for the ride. Now they're a bit more than that. Jenny is right. Feed less and their population should lower.
That's too much.
Feed less. Don't kill yourself. Feed less. Water changes. Clean up plants of any dying plant matter. That will take care of it. So 1200 is not going to blow the walls out. No, these tanks can take a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I've even shot one once.
They're dual. I think they're dual walled, right?
Yeah.
Dual walled. Yeah.
I shot one like 6 or 7 times. The 9mm barely dented it.
Oh yeah.
A long time ago. All right, how does that look?
Honey likes to. Get down.
Come on, good job.
Get down. Oh, she actually listened. Alright.
A little mixed stone again. Seems to be the theme of the evening, breaking the rules.
So, we're gonna...
Do we even know the shrimper's real name? He looks like a Sean, so we'll just call him Sean.
You know, he kind of does look like a Sean. I thought he kind of looked like a Kenny.
Kenny?
A little bit.
Every Kenny I've ever known has been kind of a not nice person.
So we're gonna do starting like, well, it was really last week, but now going forward, we're going to be doing promo codes every week during the live stream or towards the end of it. This week we're going to do percentage off spiderwood. Since Kevin's been using manzanita, we have a lot of spiderwood. So if you want to take advantage of that, you could use the code SPIDER at checkout, and you're going to save 15% off spiderwood. And yeah. There's that. So we have the randomly selected spiderwood, and that's what it'll go off of.
I don't know why I love this piece so much. I always want to use it.
Actually, it'll go for any wood we have. Also, it'll go for the Malaysian too. I'll make it. You liking it? No.
Yeah. I haven't been happy with anything I did this time.
Why can't I find this now? Alright. So yeah, you could use the code SPIDER at checkout. That'll save you, what did I say, 15% off any of the wood that we have, and that'll be good for the next week that you could use. I like that. That looks good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I guess if you get some red stems right here would probably look really good, and then maybe a carpet of Maricela Canita. And a little bit of moss in the wood, but not too much.
Joey says, "Poor Justin. He knows when I get in the chat, shit hits the fan." No, we're typically trying to go for just an hour, but we're slightly over that. But that's okay. I like the Scape. Looks nice. We should sell it.
No, it's fine.
No.
You need it. I have a plan.
We could throw it up on the website for like $1,500, like we did the other one, and people could say, "Are you nuts?"
For me, it's not any different than when people hire me to do paintings.
Paint me, Kevin, like one of your French girls.
Oh, I don't like French girls. Maybe
Poland girls?
No.
You don't like
I
Polish
grew up
girls?
with Polish girls. I would never date one.
Alrighty.
Maybe a good old-fashioned American girl. They're not as mean.
Wait, I'm not here yet. You are. Zark, we actually were, if you place your order, we're going to hold it until it warms up. Next week it's actually warming up that we can ship with heat packs. So if I was you, I'd place your order now, because this may be the only next like 2 weeks that we have to ship until the end of March, if it gets really cold. So, alright guys, well, thank you for hanging out with us. Like I said, use the code SPIDER at checkout to save 15% off wood. Check out Kevin at Brooklyn Hardscapes on Instagram or Facebook. We will be back next Wednesday, hopefully at 8 p.m. versus 9 p.m. if Kevin can ever get through traffic. I'm just going to send my private jet next time.
What happened this week, huh?
I'm sorry, it was busy. And yeah, so we'll see you on the next one, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week and stay warm.
Stay warm, yeah, definitely stay warm.
It's too cold out there.
It's cold on New Year's, man.
Yeah, it was.